Part 120. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1201. Loosening the vine revealed the heart temple inside, which had collapsed. Inside, the sky-swallowing body could see the sky outside. As the Rose Demon Queen said, the only thing she wanted to get was the key, so in terms of this transaction alone, she gave Wu Yu a lot of trust, and she let him go first. Because she knew that Wu Yu could not escape with so many people in an instant. Everything within a few hundred miles was still under her control. As long as Wu Yu regretted it, she could change her mind at any time and send Wu Yu's relatives' friends take it. Therefore, it actually didn't mean much whether she was entangled in the cane, so she just wrapped the cane around the heart temple, sent the heart temple out, sent it to Wu Yu, and then said, "You can give the key to I'm here, and then you can run as far as you want. I'm too lazy to chase you, I have to go back quickly and go to the star world, the Gumo world." At this time, the heart temple burst, and the infinite warship rushed out from it. The infinite warship was still intact, and its speed was much faster, and it also broke free of the other party's vines, but the problem was that the Rose Demon Queen was actually surrounding it. Within the scope of his control, it was useless for him to regret and run away at this time. Feng Xiya and the others certainly didn't want Wu Yu to be like this. But there was no way. Wu Yu still frowned and threw the door to the ancient demon world, that is, the key, towards the distance. "Go get it." After saying that, he boarded the infinite warship, and the group of people left quickly. The Rose Demon Queen was indeed focused on the key. After getting the key, she was afraid that she would return to her territory immediately. However, Wu Yu estimated that she had already brought the door to the star world with her, and she would want to enter the star world at any time now. Just like this, she did not continue to embarrass Wu Yu. The infinite warship fell into concealment, flew far away, and finally escaped into the seabed, hiding again. This was a place that the Rose Demon Queen could not reach. Wu Yu prepared for a short time, he hid here for a while. After settling down, his body quickly left and chased in the direction of the Rose Demon Queen. Of course he couldn't let the door to the ancient demon world be lost like this. Otherwise, he would not even be able to return to the world of Jamview, and would have to stay in this ancient demon world for the rest of his life. That is the most important thing to him now. "What should I do?" everyone asked in panic. "Don't be impatient, I will find a way." Wu Yu asked them to be quiet for now. His sky-swallowing body is still here. The important thing now is that we hide. As much as possible. Nanshan Wanjiao also knows what the situation is now, and the hiding matter is left to him. In fact, the infinite warship is more hidden than the heart temple. They hid deep in the seabed, and Wu Yu's body returned quickly. He moved with the somersault cloud and returned to the same place in the blink of an eye. He had just come back, but he didn't expect that there was an accident here, and it was a big accident. This big accident, surprisingly, it was two demon gods fighting. Unexpectedly, an even greater chaos occurred. Because of this battle and the previous movements, in fact, the demons from the entire ancient demon world may be gathering here. Of course, one of the two warring demon gods was the Rose Demon Queen, who had just obtained the key and was about to go to the star world to wreak havoc. The other side is much weirder. It is not a whole body, but hundreds of millions of bugs. If you look closely, you can see that the bugs are about the size of a finger. They are like gold, with sharp teeth and strong wings. The barbed feet have a very powerful impact. They are clearly a kind of locust. Now hundreds of millions of locusts have gathered together to launch an overwhelming attack on the Rose Demon Queen. One of the 8 demon gods, God Locust. These are all parts of his body. It is said that he has countless clones, but I didn't expect that there are actually more clones than Wu Yu. However, what is special about him is that he does not seem to have a real body. The hundreds of millions of bodies are all part of him, and they can be aggregated or dispersed. Now it is obvious that he is scattered situation. Such a monster is quite magical. In fact, Wu Yu himself felt that among the demon gods, the divine locust and the rose demon queen were more difficult to deal with, because they seemed to be separate individuals, appearing and disappearing. The rose demon queen's body was all over the world, and her body was everywhere. As for the divine locust, its clones are spread all over the world, with countless eyes staring at who knows where. This time, it was obviously because the divine locust was eyeing the movement here, and came quickly, intercepting the rose demon queen before she could successfully leave. This can be regarded as helping Wu Yu, otherwise she would have to wait until she went to the star world. Then everything is really over. These two demon gods are all competing. Rose. There is no benefit at all if you do this. We all have the same pain. If you choose to leave on your own, that would be unkind. Now that you have the key, we will not snatch it from you. You can send them all to the world where the ancient demon stone is under their control. Finally, you can go to the star world, and no one will stop you. That divine locust was quite powerful. With just a few words, the rose demon queen realized how powerful he was. As long as I'm here, don't even think about leaving through the ancient demon stone. I'll destroy your ancient demon stone and make your hopes come true. Even if you have the key, you can't go anywhere. I tell you, don't be stubborn. Yes, you will be our great hero. To be honest, I have already told all 6 of them, and they are all on their way here. Soon, everyone will appear here. By then, if you are still stubborn, then don't blame us for being rude. Now, the Rose Demon Queen is in an embarrassing situation. With the divine locust restraining her, she couldn't leave at all. Maybe with other demon gods, she could still leave smoothly, but with the divine locust's presence, she couldn't hide from his eyes wherever she went. She had no spare time to open the door to the star world and reach the star world. She was so big that she needed to shrink to get through that door, and she needed time. But now, God Locust will not let her go no matter what. If this delay continues, when the 6 demon gods arrive, if she still persists in her obsession, one of them will be killed. Not only will the Rose Demon Queen not be able to leave alone, she will even die here. Okay. I agreed. But I have a condition. Everyone goes to the world that their own ancient demon stone leads to, and no one is allowed to go to the star world with me. Did she know that God Locust might not have heard about it? Regarding the matter of the Gumo world, she didn't want others to go to the Gumo world with her. God Locust smiled and said, "Of course there is no problem, we don't want to go to the star world. Everyone understands, who doesn't want to control a world alone? The Earth demon world that my ancient demon stone leads to also looks quite good. Not bad, no worse than your star world. Their fundamental purpose is to go to another world and become the overlord there. Of course, the killing period here is also a reason. So they are really not good people." The two made an agreement, the Rose Demon Queen surrendered, and the fighting stopped. "We have discussed it. Let you hold the key. You only need to bring us into our respective worlds one by one," Shen Locust said. The Rose Demon Queen sneered, "That's what I said, but the ancient demon stone of the Blood Sea Peng Demon was snatched away by Wu Yu. We are all going to the worlds that our respective ancient demon stones lead to. Where will the Blood Sea Peng Demon go?" "Woolen cloth." Shen Locust smiled coldly and said, "Then I don't know. Maybe he should go to Wu Yu and get his ancient demon stone back. He can't even keep the ancient demon stone. No matter what happens, he can't blame others." Wu Yu heard it. Anyway, none of them would let the Blood Sea Peng Demon enter the world they wanted to touch. As the saying goes, there is no room for 2 tigers in one mountain, and no one wants to show mercy. The 8 demon gods will never give in at all. The 2 of them calmed down. Wu Yu was far away, and there was no chance to get close for the time being. The gate to the ancient demon world had been taken away by the Rose Demon Queen. Wu Yu still had contact with it. After all, Wu Yu had already the blood sacrifice has been refined, and this demon doesn't know much about rituals, magic circles, etc., so now the Rose Demon Queen has only controlled it, but failed to cut off the connection between Wu Yu and the gate of the ancient demon world. Wu Yu probably knows that the door to the ancient demon world is hidden somewhere in the torso. Now that the 8 demon gods are involved, Wu Yu has some chances to get it back. He won't give up anyway, this is too important to him. The remaining demon gods, related to the key, came over as quickly as possible, and then appeared one after another. First, Wu Yu saw the 9 infant god again. This 9 infant god was really powerful and domineering. The future target, with its jet black dragon scales, huge bat-like wings, long and full tail, sharp claws, and 9 ferocious heads, it looks like a huge killing weapon at a glance. It also has an amazing power of intimidation. After he arrived, he said in a low voice, "I didn't expect you to get the key first." "Congratulations." The Rose Demon Queen said, "There is no need to congratulate me. I got it alone, and you all can realize your dreams and wishes." "That's right, thank you very much." Jueying God continued to smile. Then, the nearby Blood Sea Rock Demon also came, and the 4 demon gods on land gathered together. After the Blood Sea Rock Demon came here, he had not spoken yet. After all, his face was very gloomy. Among the demon gods in the sea, Wu the Mosasaurus that you had fought against had already arrived. The Mosasaurus was even bigger. He flew across the sky, covering half of the sky. His huge head looked like it could swallow up all the 4 demon gods on land. However, his voice was deliberately gentle as he smiled, "It's wonderful. Rose is indeed my favorite friend. It's good to remember us old friends. To be honest, we really have to thank you. Brother Mosasaurus, you don't need to see anyone outside, this is what I should do." Rose Demon Queen said this, obviously she didn't mean it. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1202. After the arrival of the demon gods, only the Blood Sea Peng demon was more gloomy. He looked at the other demon gods who were usually as powerful as water and fire with cold eyes. Now they were chatting with each other as if they were old friends for many years. Little did they know how many people were killed and injured in the fight for territory. "I suggest that each party should bring about 200 people. This can basically bring all the cronies. If there are too many, it will be very troublesome for Rose. As for how many people Rose brings, it is up to her." Mosasaurus laughed. Then said, "Of course they are not just going to other worlds by themselves, they must also have descendants and descendants. 200 places is not too much for them. But it is still quite troublesome for Rose Demon Queen. Then 200, please understand Rose. After all, they are all descendants, and I don't want them to stay here and continue to suffer." Jueying God also said with a smile. The Rose Demon Queen was helpless, but she knew that if she didn't agree and they were here now, the matter would be serious. If they weren't afraid that she would be defeated, they would probably form a siege. By then, her life would be hard to save. She also knew that if she were them, she would do the same. Forget it, the trouble is a little more troublesome, but the result remains the same. I can still go to the great world of ancient ink, she thought in her heart, so she agreed. After all, the key was in her hand. She was very proactive and could her entire tribe. All moved to the star world. Next, the other 3 demon gods from the sea arrived one after another. The first one to come was the Blue Emperor, which is the legendary giant blue eye at the bottom of the sea. He was shrouded in mist and looked like some kind of shell. When the shell was opened, a pair of terrifying blue eyes appeared. The eyes are full of psychedelic effects. He is indeed a being who is extremely good at illusions and is quite mysterious. The second one is the Red Devil, which is similar to the rose demon queen's vines all over the land. His blood-red body is like blood vessels, all over the sea. When it appears, it is also a thick blood vessel with blood dripping inside. I can't tell what kind of monster it is. The third one is the spiritual realm demon tree, which is also a plant demon, but it is different from the rose demon queen. Her body is very small, just like an ordinary small tree, but her whole body is transparent, and some of the veins in her body can be clearly seen. Although it is a demon, it has the pure feeling of a fairy beast. Moreover, the appearance of the spiritual realm demon tree was very small. In fact, the other demon gods were probably a little unfamiliar with her. Everyone is here, let me explain what we just discussed. The rose demon queen paused, and then began, I got the key, and then everyone suggested that I take you first to the world that is led to by the ancient demon stone that you each have. Each side has 200 places. After sending everyone there, I will go to the star world myself. Do you have any questions about the 200 places? In fact, I think it will be fine if I bring my dearest ones. Jueying God first said, there is no doubt that this is just right. Next, we will just think about the order. God Locust also said, I don't have a problem either. In fact, the order doesn't matter anymore. We all believe in Rose. We are all our own people and we don't make lies. Mosasaurus said, I'm used to being alone. There are less than 200 descendants that I really like, so that's absolutely fine. The Red Devil said, I'm just one person, I don't need 200. The Spirit Realm Demon Tree also said, I am the only one here. The Rose Demon Queen glanced around and said, it seems that everyone has no problem, so it has been decided. As for the order, don't worry about it. I have already promised, and I will never break my promise and will definitely send everyone away. After all, it doesn't do any harm to me. We all go to different worlds. Let's start with the closest one, go around in a circle, and finally come back to me. First, the 9 infant gods should be the closest. Locust, then Mosasaurus, Blue Emperor, Red Devil, Spirit Realm Demon Tree. The Blood Sea Rock Demon smiled coldly, looked at everyone, and said, I think what you all mean is that the benefits this time will not be mine, right? The other 7 did not speak for the time being, and everyone looked at each other in confusion. Finally, Shen Locust laughed dumbly and said, Brother Peng, please don't speak to us in a questioning tone. Really, it's not us who made you lose the ancient demon stone. Anyway, well, we all feel that it is the most appropriate world for everyone to enter. Your door to the Yanfa world is in the hands of Wu Yu. I think you should go find Wu Yu first. He has just escaped. Soon. Rose Demon Queen said, Brother Peng, I'm really sorry. I could only get the key at that time, and I really couldn't do anything about your ancient demon stone. I think it's not necessarily that I will return to the ancient demon world in the future. You must ask if Brother Peng has got his ancient demon stone back. If so, you must send Brother Peng to the world of Jamfu. Jueying Shen said, it's unfortunate, so you'd better go back first this time. It's best to go find Wu Yu. It's important to get the ancient demon stone back. He doesn't have the key now, and he can't go anywhere else. This whole situation, you are the only demon god in the ancient demon world, which is actually quite refreshing. Such a big world is yours. Although the killing period is a bit imperfect, I think if you get your ancient demon stone back, Rose is very likely to come back sometime. After all, they are all mortal enemies. At this time, they stand together because of their common interests. However, as the only one left behind on the ancient demon stone, and the others are not willing to let him share a world with them, the Blood Sea Pen demon is obviously received collective rejection from everyone. In fact, Wu Yu estimated that if the Blood Sea Pen demon was ignorant or unbalanced at this time, he might suffer even more rejection, and even 7 others might join forces to clear this obstacle. This chapter is not over, please click on the next page to continue reading. This depends on whether the Blood Sea Rock Demon is smart enough, able to bend and stretch, or if he can understand his current situation. But judging from Wu Yu's understanding, this Blood Sea Pen Demon is quite conceited. In this case, he may not realize his disadvantage, but will become furious. Among the demons in the sea, the Xuanhuan also said, "Brother Pen, go back. If I were you, I'd better go find Wu Yu quickly. Maybe they haven't escaped far." The Red Devil smiled and said, "Actually, there is no need. After we leave, Brother Pen will dominate the ancient demon world, and the entire ancient demon world will be under your rule. That is quite good. Whether it is land or sea, whether it is insects or birds, the beasts, or the monsters of the sea, are all yours." The Spirit Realm Demon Tree also expressed its own opinion, that is, "Let's go." The 7 people basically expressed their opinions that they did not want the Blood Sea Rock Demon to affect them. Now, the 7 of them are all looking at the Blood Sea Pen Demon, waiting for their decision. On that day, the huge blood-red rock suddenly laughed and said 3 words, "Good. Well, you bastards. You actually want to join forces and leave me here. To put it nicely, aren't you just afraid of us and your world? Why should a group of cruel and selfish people stand together hypocritically? Today, you, for your own personal gain, you humiliate me so much. It's really too much of a lie to treat me with such disrespect." He was really furious, not because he was left here, but because the attitude of the 7 of them was really too bad. They suddenly joined forces and made the Blood Sea Pen Demon go crazy in the middle of a joke. The Blood Sea Pen Demon cursed like this. 7 of them had a chance to win, but they couldn't bear it. Among them, Zhu Yingshen said, "Brother Pen, it's best not to go too far. It's you who can't throw away the ancient demon stone. Why should you blame me? As for us, if you have the ability, you can take back your ancient demon stone, so what's the point of showing off to us? Yes, you can even throw ancient demon stones. I actually admire your ability." To be honest, the Blood Sea Pen Demon was rejected from the beginning. After all, he was violent, dictatorial, and arrogant. He refused to give face to anyone. He especially had disputes with the 9 Infant God. The 2 clans often had frictions. When the 9 Infant God came forward, even Bloody the High Pen Demon doesn't even give him face, and he's very unreasonable and unforgiving. The most important thing is that the Blood Sea Pen Demon is bloodthirsty. Over the years, no matter which clan he belongs to, he has drank a lot of blood. The other demon gods all remember this hatred. Now that there is an opportunity to join forces to add insult to injury, of course they will let it go. Brother Pen, don't think too much. No one is really bullying you. If you stay here, you are just humiliating yourself. The Rose Demon Queen was also in a bad mood. After all, she was overjoyed just now and was about to share it with others. Still not so refreshing. However, Wu Yu found that with the temper of the Blood Sea Rock Demon, the more he was criticized by a group of people, the angrier he became. At this time, he laughed ferociously and said, "Okay, come and bully me. You really think I am being insulted? Very good. Then I have to see, how can you go to other worlds while I am here? Don't show anyone's ancient demon stone, be careful I let you. My wish has come true. When the time comes, everyone will have no ancient demon stone. I want to see if you can still ignore me and bully me like this." His temper is rising, and he can't stop it. After all, he is a bloody sea rock demon and is a violent beast. But after hearing such words, everyone fell silent. "Brother Pen, if that's the case, don't blame us for being rude," Zhu God sneered. He was eager to join forces and get rid of this burden, and everyone would be happy. The crowd was ready to surround him. The Blood Sea Pen Demon was so angry that he said, "What's the matter, you want to join forces to kill me? Then don't blame me, you have to support me even if you die, let's see who will fail in his wish. Is it that easy for you to pull someone off your back? It seems that you are used to being domineering and there is something wrong with your brain. That's just right. Brothers, I think there is no need to say more. Let's do it. Use his blood to fight for, let's practice it. Who can say that there are no juniors in your clan who would let your guy drink blood and get cramps? The flames of war quickly broke out. The Blood Sea Pen demon was really angry and actually wanted to fight with them. Of course, Wu Yu was also happy to see them rebel. Next, we will soon get to the most important plot of the book so far. Stay tuned. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1203. The latest chapter of the fastest swallowing heaven. In fact, Wu Yu has never seen what it would be like if the demon god really took action. Now that I see them, I understand that the gap between demons and gods is the same as the gap between immortals and mortals. That kind of leap is not equivalent to the transformation from the Yuan Shen realm to the Dao realm. Rather, it is an unprecedented transformation from a limited lifespan to immortality, a transformation from asking questions to attaining the Tao. Strictly speaking, not even a life. Immortals, ghosts, and demons are all above the mortal world and are the ultimate goals of mortal beings. When you reach that realm, even if you are a demon god, in fact, when you fight, you are not limited to your own magical powers. Even your magical powers have a deeper meaning, and that kind of meaning cannot be understood by ordinary people. Perhaps they used something in this world that we can't see to make it appear so high. It's complicated and profound. Among mortals, Wu Yu is already powerful enough. If we compare him to a creature, for example, if it is some kind of beast, such as a cat, then it is so powerful that it is equivalent to a tiger, very thick, muscular, and full of murderous intent. However, the demon gods fighting in front of him may not be as strong as Wu Yu. However, the demon gods are equivalent to the ascetics in the eyes of tigers. They are no longer beasts, but beings who know how to use the Tao. Wu Yu, a tiger, no matter how strong you are, you can't compare with the ascetics. The difference between ordinary beasts who have not yet awakened their spiritual intelligence and ascetics may be the difference between ascetics and gods. The Tao in their eyes may be different from the Tao in Wu Yu's eyes. Therefore, in fact, even if Wu Yu continues to advance in the Dao realm, and even reaches the 10th level of the Dao realm, he will not become an immortal in one day. He may defeat some gods, but he still cannot use Tao like the gods. By using Tao, the gods may be able to defeat him with relatively little effort. This is not a difference in power, but a difference in level and life realm. The melee between the 8 demon gods that Wu Yu saw now was a battle in a higher realm of life, and he had to hide far away. After being rejected, the Blood Sea Rock demon became furious, lost his mind, and was besieged by 7 demon gods. But he is not a headless fly. In fact, he has a purpose. He is staring at the Rose Demon Queen. Even if the Rose Demon Queen does not offend him, if he suddenly snatches the key, what will happen? In an instant, he became the one who took the initiative. In fact, among the demon gods, the Blood Sea Pen demon is arrogant. It can be seen that his combat power is among the 8 demon gods, and he is probably ranked in the top 3. In a place like the ancient demon world, their big melee is simply a world-destroying destruction. At the beginning, a large number of top demons came to help, but they were completely unable to intervene and could only hang in the distance like Wu Yu. What Wu Yu saw was, mountains collapsed, rivers evaporated, grasslands turned into scorched earth, the Gobi Desert turned into furnaces, lakes turned into abyss, forests turned into seas of fire, and the earth was cracked, and there were deep holes everywhere. The ravines, as well as the ordinary monsters, cannot escape the world left behind. The crazy Blood Sea Rock Demon turned the whole world upside down. For example, Wu Yu could not see clearly their battle. He could only see that the Blood Sea Rock Demon was indeed besieged, and the other 7 demon gods were very ruthless in their attacks, such as when it comes to the 9 infant god and the Rose Demon Queen, they are even more merciless. The Rose Demon Queen is in a slightly dangerous situation because the Blood Sea Rock Demon specifically attacks her. At this time, other people do not actually help her. They just focus on attacking the Blood Sea Rock Demon themselves. Once they take action, they will obviously he must not keep an opponent like him who will kill the Blood Sea Pen Demon, otherwise he will cause trouble for himself in the future. Okay. You are so cruel. You really want to kill me. Everyone is still sanctimonious. I can't go to other worlds. I also tell each of you that no one can leave. Everyone must stay here. The Rose Demon Queen. Go to hell. Far away, Wu Yu saw the Rose Demon Queen's vines rooted in the ground, stained red by large amounts of blood. Half of the world turned blood red, and the blood red formed a tornado-like tornado. The storm swept through the world, entangled the Rose Demon Queen's body, and completely enveloped her body in the blood-red storm. For a moment, Wu Yu could see countless broken vines of the Rose Demon Queen between the heaven and the earth. Damn, those are all stained red. The screams of the Rose Demon Queen could be vaguely heard. Good opportunity. The Blood Sea Pen Demon obviously wants to grab the key. From passive to active, that is the only way for him to go to other worlds. So in fact, he is not too stupid. He knows that if he attacks the Rose Demon Queen, others will definitely the meeting has nothing to do with you, just hang it up high. Of course Wu Yu knew. Although he did not fully grasp where the door to the ancient demon world was, he was indeed its owner. Now he was taking a risk. He used the laws of heaven to make his body smaller and rushed there. This required avoiding the demon god. Their attacks, if not careful, may turn them into ashes. It's like walking a tightrope these days. He could see the location of the key. At this time, Rose Demon Queen's attention was obviously in the fight with the Blood Sea Pen Demon. The other demon gods were all attacking the Blood Sea Rock Demon, and their methods were cruel, but the Blood Sea Rock Demon was a lunatic. At this time, he actually resisted those attacks and pounced on the Rose Demon Queen, with blood-red feathers flying all over the sky. This chapter is not finished yet, please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content. At this time, Wu Yu hid behind the Rose Demon Queen, which was the place where he was attacked. He kept dodging, and the activated golden robe of the Holy Dragon was of no use, and it would probably burst soon. Everyone, kill him quickly. If you don't kill him, how can I take you out of here? Do it quickly. Being so targeted by the Blood Sea Rock Demon, the Rose Demon Queen was a little panicked and asked for help from others, because the attacks of others were not as fatal as that one. Don't panic, watch us kill this madman. Hurry up and kill him. In fact, they obviously wanted to hurt the Rose Demon Queen more and make her condition worse. When the time comes to take them to other worlds, she can be more honest and avoid having to play tricks. This can be regarded as a show of strength. Even though they said that, they still did not stop the Blood Sea Rock Demon. At this time, the Blood Sea Rock Demon rushed in front of the Rose Demon Queen. The pair of sharp claws pulled the Rose Demon Queen directly out of the ground. The bird's beak pecked at the Rose Demon Queen. This is a flesh and blood fight between demons and gods. The ways of the demon gods are definitely inferior to those of gods, but their bodies have more advantages. For example, the Blood Sea Rock Demon has actually reached a very high level of physical strength, which is not in the same realm as ordinary demons. The power of the claws and wings can shatter the universe. Seeing the melee, Wu Yu took action without saying a word. The gate to the ancient demon world was hidden somewhere on the Rose Demon Queen's torso, behind her, and the Blood Sea Pen Demon was attacking from the front. While he tore apart the body of the Rose Demon Queen, the vines of the Rose Demon Queen also penetrated his body fiercely. And, the 6 demon gods behind him, seeing the current situation, felt that it was about the same, and launched attacks one after another, causing his lower body to be bloody, with bones visible, and many Taoist and magical powers penetrated into his bone marrow. In fact, this is more terrifying than the attack of flesh and blood. This is what can truly kill the Blood Sea Rock Demon. It doesn't matter, Wu Yu can't retreat anyway, because the gate to the ancient demon world is too important to him. Those 2 demon gods, when the Blood Sea Pen Demon was attacked by others, of course they had the upper hand. He suppressed the Rose Demon Queen purely with that fierce force, which made the Rose Demon Queen very angry, but also miserable. Word. Tear. Again, a large amount of flesh and blood was torn apart on the torso. Of course, the flesh of the Rose Demon Queen was actually a tree. Click, click, click. Go to hell. The Blood Sea Pen Demon is really crazy. It has reached this level. He is still holding on to the Rose Demon Queen and not letting go, and even tearing her body back and forth. Unfortunately, he does not know the location of the gate to the ancient demon world. Others no one knows, otherwise he might succeed in robbing it now. Wu Yu was also looking for an opportunity. Now the Rose Demon Queen's body was riddled with holes, and she had almost reached the gate of the ancient demon world. At this time, he saw that the Blood Sea Pen Demon was dying and completely severely injured. He was still a little worried about the Blood High Pen Demon died before he could open the key's passage. 20 feet down from your left paw. Wu Yu also felt that he had to take a gamble. He suddenly used the sound transmission technique to tell the Blood Sea Rock Demon. At this time, the Blood Sea Rock Demon was just at the end of his strength. His claws had reached behind the Rose Demon Queen. In fact, it could be seen that the magical powers of the other demon gods had taken effect and he was about to collapse, but the Rose Demon Queen still suffered more flesh and blood injuries. But at this moment, Wu Yu's words brought about huge changes. The Blood Sea Rock Demon's eyes lit up, and he moved down 20 feet in an instant. His sharp claws pierced the body of the Rose Demon Queen, and tore it open with a crash, pulling out a large number of sawdust. Appeared. Tearing open the body of the Rose Demon Queen, when the sawdust flew out, the key trapped inside also appeared instantly. Wu Yu said nothing. He was faster than the Blood Sea Pen Demon, because the Blood Sea Pen Demon was in the Rose Demon Queen's body. In front of his body, he couldn't see the part behind him. Wu Yu was in this position, guiding the gate of the ancient demon world to fly towards him. He grabbed it instantly, and then without saying a word, he jumped into the distance with a somersault cloud. Whoosh, it bounced several times in a row and moved far away. However, a demon god still saw Wu Yu. The key was taken away by him. That guy named Wu Yu. For a moment, the 8 demon gods were stunned. Just go to Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1204. The latest chapter of Tianji is updated the fastest. A farce, a joke. The 8 demon gods suddenly stopped in their tracks. When they had lost traces of Wu Yu within their detection range, they actually had no idea in which direction Wu Yu had fled. The Blood Sea Pen Demon was determined to get the key at all costs, and of course for the sake of face, he did not succeed, but at this moment he remembered what happened and laughed out loud, not caring about the tragic, seemingly dying injuries all over his body, and laughed out loud. It's really funny, haha. It's so funny. Other worlds. Leaving the ancient demon world? Go to hell. What are you dreaming about, wanting to leave me behind? Now you know what it means to deserve it and what it means to bring disaster upon yourself. Haha. He really laughed very happily. Each of the 7 demon gods was livid. They thought everything was under their control, and even wanted the Blood Sea Peng Demon to show some power to the Rose Demon Queen before they took action. Now, the key was lost and returned to Wu Yu. Each of their faces seemed to have been slapped hard, and now it hurts. Only the Blood Sea Peng Demon was secretly happy. The Nine Infants God looked gloomy and said, "There was an accident. Don't worry. Wu Yu can't escape from our palm anyway. But this guy without the ancient demon stone must die, otherwise he will always cause trouble for us." They are now furious. Don't waste time, kill him quickly, and then chase Wu Yu. Let's do it together. They have killed the Blood Sea Peng Demon to this extent. It is impossible for him to leave alive now. They have already torn their faces. Letting him leave alive is simply a matter of life and death. If you meet the crazy Blood Sea Peng Demon alone, everyone will be afraid. The 7 of them really have to hurry up and take action. It's time to be fierce. Want to kill me? Unfortunately, I guessed it, the Blood Sea Peng Demon was flying, and I'm afraid he was going to use some secret technique. He melted quickly and turned into a ball of blood, and then disappeared in front of everyone with a whoosh. The Nine Infants God was furious and said, he actually used his burning blood escape, which was really desperate. However, he was already seriously injured, and with this burning blood escape, he won't be able to recover to his peak in 10 years. Wait until we find the key and then go to the Blood Sea to kill him. It's not too late then, anyway, he has no power to resist in a short time. Moreover, you can escape the monk but not the temple. He can leave, but there are so many of his bird clan. Unless he is willing to be exterminated, he will definitely appear. Stop talking nonsense, hurry up and find Wu Yu. The Rose Demon Queen was the most angry. The good situation was destroyed because of these people's scheming, but she couldn't say much, because once she stood on the opposite side of the group, the end would be quite tragic. The Blood Sea Peng Demon is the most vivid example. She was very glad that she didn't throw away the ancient demon stone at the beginning. As long as he is still in the ancient demon world, I can find him. My eyes are everywhere on this land. The god locust turned into billions and scattered. Me too. The roots of the Rose Demon Queen continued to extend on the ground. Leave the sea to me. The red demon drilled into the ground and quickly went to the sea. I can also help, the Spirit Realm Demon Tree said. They are considered a complete alliance. This time they must find Wu Yu again and get the door to the ancient demon world before they are satisfied. The most feared thing is that he takes the door to the Yama world and goes to the Yama world. But why doesn't he go and stay here? Maybe the Yama world is not suitable for him. Anyway, there is not much time left for us. While they were discussing, Wu Yu took a deep breath and returned to the Wuji warship hidden on the seabed. Others were waiting for him here nervously. Especially Feng Xiya, Wu Yu, Zhu and Su Yanli. They are all weak now and are the most worried. In fact, they don't care whether they can return to the world of Yanfu. What's important is that they can survive safely in this ancient demon world. Of course, Wu Yu had already told them when he took back the door to the ancient demon world. The 6 of them were extremely happy. Even Feng Xiya showed a knowing smile at this time. In fact, he was not particularly old, but after all, he was Wu Yu's elder, so everyone was still particularly respectful to him. He was the only elder here, and the others were all young people. Not long after, Wu Yu's body returned, and the number of people was complete. In fact, before returning, Wu Yu's swallowing body had already told them. The ancient demon world is the territory of these 8 demon gods. They have set their sights on us and are looking for us all over the world. We can't stay here any longer. Then what should we do? Wu Yu said, although we are not sure what the guardian deity of the star world is like, he may not be able to find us immediately. Now, we are heading to the star world. The spiritual energy in the star world is poor and not suitable for us, but I found the passage to the ancient Mo world. We will go to the ancient Mo world first. I have told you before that it will definitely be more exciting and more beneficial to your cultivation. Although it will be troublesome to return to the Yama world in the future, there is nothing we can do about it. Okay, then let's go to the ancient Mo world. It sounds quite exciting. On the other hand, this ancient demon world is really dull. In addition, I heard you say that there are many beauties in the star world. It would be nice to stay there for a while. Nanshan Wanjiao began to imagine a romantic encounter. This chapter is not over yet. Please click on the next page to continue reading. Although it is a bit difficult to return to the Yama world, Yezixi actually has no feelings for the Yama world. She grew up in the lava hell. Now there is a new world to venture into. She is also very excited. Zhuiying is also very interested. Wu Yu and Su Yanli, on the other hand, are a little nostalgic for the Yama world. Now they are getting farther and farther away, and their inner tolerance is still a little worse. Wu Yu said that when his real body arrives, he set off immediately, and on the way, Wu Yu had already opened the door to the ancient demon world. To be honest, he must have known that the demon gods in the sea would catch up. With the ability of those demon gods to join forces, it would not be difficult to find the Wuji warship. Wu Yu had underestimated them before. Finally, when the main body returned, Wu Yu immediately opened the door to the ancient demon world. He planned to swallow the body first, so the body turned around and told everyone, "You all just follow me in. There is no spiritual energy in the star world, so you may need to adapt a little." Everyone else nodded, except Feng Shuya, who sat on the ground, smiling, looking at Wu Yu's main body with a strange expression. Wu Yu was about to start, but Feng Shuya was still sitting and had no intention of standing up, which made Wu Yu a little strange, so he asked, "Master, are you nostalgic for the world of Yama?" Everyone looked at Feng Shuya in confusion. His expression was puzzled. His smile was sudden and a little unsettling. Feng Shuya was usually wise, mature, and graceful, and he would not smile inexplicably like this. "Master," Wu Yu asked again. Feng Shuya pursed his lips, then spoke slowly, "Actually, I don't think you need to go to the Gumo world, that's not where you belong. Although the world is big, there are better places that are more suitable for you." This is so inexplicable that it confuses everyone. Even Nanshan Wanjiao, who is usually smart, was stunned. In his impression, after Wu Yu, the master, came here, his realm was much lower than theirs, so he was very honest. During this period, he was seriously practicing under Wu Yu's guidance and rarely spoke. How could he suddenly say something strange? The others also looked at him in confusion. Now is the time to escape. Wu Yu had a bad premonition in his heart, even a bit like a bolt from the blue. Feng Shuya stared at Wu Yu and said, "I didn't want to care about you, but you just now, you couldn't even protect the door to the ancient demon world, and you almost lost it. In addition, Luo Ben is about to pass the tribulation and ascend to heaven, which is faster than I expected, so for the sake of safety, I'd better do this thing." When he mentioned Luo Ben, Wu Yu felt horrible. For a moment, except Wu Yu, Su Yanli, Wu Yu, Nanshan Wanjiao and Yezixi all took a few steps back, looking at Feng Shuya with some fear, because they all remembered something. The ancient emperor once said that Feng Shuya was himself. Wu Yu naturally knew better than anyone else. To be honest, at this moment he was struck by lightning, staring at Feng Shuya in a daze, and he knew better than anyone what had changed. It is very likely that the thing he was most worried about had happened. Although all the changes in the past year or so have made him deny this, and he thinks that he has achieved the ultimate without any flaws. But now, he still can't even think of what went wrong with him. The gate to the ancient demon world was automatically closed because no one went there during this period of time. Inside the Wuji warship, there was a deathly silence. Wu Yu's mind was a little blank. "So, you, or the ancient Emperor Yanhuang, are not my father? What about my master? Although he didn't say it directly, it was clearly what he meant. His previous two sentences showed that the game he had set up could be closed. Feng Shui was brought to Wu Yu by the ancient Emperor Yanhuang. Of course, Wu Yu could be sure that he was Feng Shui. He had all the memories of the past, and Wu Yu was definitely Wu Yu. At this moment, Wu Yu was also very confused and couldn't figure it out. Wu Yu didn't change, but Feng Shui did. Feng Shui smiled and said, "You are still quite naive. You believe such lies. In order to cultivate a descendant, I spent so much effort and went to act for more than 10 years. It sounds like a great father, but how is it possible? You can ask in the sky, is this kind of behavior style, the ancient Emperor Yanhuang?" These words can make everyone shudder. This moment has not come for a long time, Wu Yu has forgotten it, but this moment came suddenly, which made Wu Yu shudder. It was too sudden. "So, where is Fairy Suzang?" Feng Shui said, "Oh, it's my Taoist partner. But, it has nothing to do with you. Starting from the 26th, it is the annual author conference of 17K Novel Network. Fengzi continues to be invited to participate. It has been 5 or 6 years. This time he will also go to Beijing. But don't worry, the update will not fall behind. After all, the plot has reached a critical moment, and Fengzi does not want to drag it out. I will go to Beijing tomorrow. If you have nothing to do in the next 2 days, you can visit Fengzi's shop. Search Feng Qingyang Studio on Doubao. To read refreshing novels, go to Heaven Swallowing Record author, Feng Qingyang. Chapter 1205. It has nothing to do with you. Well, it's all a lie. Ever since he knew that he had a real mother, Wu Yu would occasionally have daydreams about her. Imagine that one day, when I go to Suyu Tiangong and see her, what will she look like? What expression would she have? A lot of interesting pictures come to mind. For more than a year, the constant peace allowed him to gradually and subconsciously regard everything created by the ancient emperor as real. Even Nanshan Wanjiao has gradually let down his inner guard during this period of time. For example, if Wu Yu returns to the world of Jambu, he is not too worried. But now the facts, before their eyes, are simply a crazy slap in the face. Wu Yu had probably never encountered such a frightening thing in his history. His most ominous premonition had become a reality at this moment. All the speculations he had made were not because he was suspicious, but because his intuition told him that it was all false. Ancient Emperor. It took so much effort to deceive him. Now, the 5 people behind Wu Yu were all panicked, even himself. The ancient Emperor Yanhuang is not equal to the 8 demon gods. Wu Yu has never been afraid when he fought with the 8 demon gods, but this ancient emperor knows everything about Wu Yu. He is the real god in Wu Yu's heart, and there is no secret in him. He had a feeling of powerlessness when facing the immortal Haoshan when he was immortal. Especially, the other party now appears in the form of his mentor Feng Shui. "Since you are not my father or my master, what did you do to my mentor?" Wu Yu stared at him with red eyes. Feng Shui smiled and said, "Is this body's original soul? Of course it was absorbed by me. I separated a ray of immortal God, absorbed his memory and personality, and allowed him to continue to survive for a short time. So what? Now if you think he is still alive, then he is alive. If you think he is dead, then he is dead. He has never been Feng Xia. He is not the emperor of Suqiao, nor Wu Yu's father. He is not even Sun Wudao. These 3 people are just 3 people, definitely not one person." For Wu Yu, these words were like a thunderbolt. After becoming famous, he always wanted to protect Feng Xia. He even had a puppet in the Tongtian sword sect. However, How could a mere puppet block the ancient Emperor Yanhuang, who had already prepared, planned for a long time? How can humans fight against the sky? To Wu Yu, the current ancient Emperor Yanhuang and the original immortal Haoshan were all from heaven. You mean, you killed my mentor? In Wu Yu's chest, countless rages were spraying wildly, the blood all over his body was boiling, and hatred was burning in his pores. At this time, his eyes were completely blood red, and he was looking at him like a wild beast. After so many years he has never been so hateful and angry before. He recalled the scenes in his mind where he saved his life because of Feng Xiya and embarked on the path of monasticism. No matter how far he went in the future, Feng Xiya he will always be his mentor, the person who changed everything for him, and his status in his heart is as high as that of Sun Wuodao. Once, when Sun Wuodao died, he became furious and beheaded Situjin on the spot. Pain, regret. However, the god of this world now killed his mentor. He had greater anger, erupting in every particle in his body. The fiery breath rushed to his throat, making his throat burn, and he was speechless. Feng Shui still smiled calmly and said, "If you want to understand it this way, that's okay. Anyway, you must hate me. Of course, hatred has no effect. I have worked so hard to introduce you to the ancient Soul Tower, and then I made up stories to fool you, and even made you the Emperor of Yan and Huang, letting everyone in the world know that you are my cheap son. I have never done this to a mortal before, so you should be satisfied with this honor." Of course Wu Yu couldn't do anything, because this was Feng Shui's body, and he certainly wouldn't destroy his master's body. He knew that the one he should hate was the real ancient Emperor Yan Huang. Now, he still has some sense and knows what he should do. "What's your purpose?" Every word he said contained deep murderous intent. Feng Xiya shook his head. Said, "Actually, you should understand that what attracts me to you is nothing more than those few things. Forget it, when you return to the world of Jambu, I will tell you the details, so that you can give up. It will make it easier for me to do things. Don't go back, otherwise you will be fooled by him," Nanshan Wanjiao said anxiously. "Brother Yu, don't go back, he can't do anything to us," Yezixi also said the same. But Wu Yu knew that since he was exposed at this time, he was in the dark and Wu Yu was in the open, and he definitely had a way to make Wu Yu return to the world of Yanfu. Sure enough, before Wu Yu could speak, Feng Shui said with a smile, "Young people just don't know how high the sky and the earth are, but they are really lucky. All three of them have received the inheritance of the top immortals. Wild boar, and you are a delusional parent. Revengeful ghost flame clan, do you know why I have kept you here until now? It's because you have to be useful." He stared at Wu Yu and said, "Wu Yu, remember, bring your true body, the sky-swallowing body, as well as this wild boar, the ghost flame clan, and the floating life tower. These 5 things are indispensable. Let's go back to Jambu world. I'm waiting for your return in Jambu world. Remember, you can't decide on 5 things, otherwise, I will be unhappy." This chapter is not over, please click on the next page to continue reading. He spoke calmly, but there was an irresistible sense of terror. However, the blood feud is swallowing up Wu Yu's sanity. At this time, he wants to go back and kill him 10,000 times, but he must endure it. Because he doesn't have the strength to fight against the ancient emperor at all, but he has the potential to grow to that point. If you fall into his scheme at this time, you will be a real fool. Having believed in him for so long was actually stupid enough. Wu Yu really asked him to return Feng Shui and Wu Yu to him, and also lied to him about Fairy Susang. I didn't believe it at first, but then I became more and more trusting. Moreover, I heard him talk about the ancient Soul Tower just now, which gave Wu Yu an even more ominous premonition. "What if I don't go back?" Wu Yu asked. He wanted to know what the other party's threat method was, and what he vaguely remembered. Sure enough, Feng Shui continued with a smile, The current Shenlong clan is too naive, thinking that the magic circle of the Four Seas Dragon Palace can stop me. I don't know where the confidence comes from. I'm just too lazy to attack them. Of course, it will cost a lot of money. A little time, in general, just one day. You still have one day to think about it. She is expected to face the catastrophe of the immortal world within 10 days. You said that at this time, I will destroy this protective circle. If her advantage is reduced by half, will she die immediately? Moreover, my patience has its limits. Crushing a little guy who is about to become an immortal is a completely normal thing for me. He seemed to be talking about a very simple thing, just like a friend talking to each other, and he said such a long paragraph. However, Wu Yu finally knew why he relied on him from the beginning to the end, or why he allowed Wu Yu to run around in the ancient demon world and was even willing to send Wu Yu and Feng Shui to him. At this moment, Wu Yu remembered the first words he said to Luo Bin when he was at the Feng Guo Tianyuntai. At that time, he already knew that Luo Bin was about to face a catastrophe in the immortal world. That's something he cares about, so he'll pay attention. But at that time, Wu Yu could not have imagined that it was so far away. The ancient emperor was never afraid that Wu Yu would go somewhere, because he knew that no matter where Wu Yu went, when Luo Bin, whom he thought was safe, became unsafe, he would definitely go back. There's no suspense at all. Even if it wasn't him, even if it was an ordinary man, he wouldn't be able to choose to run away when faced with such a death crisis before the woman he loved, before she realized her dream, before she aspired to become an immortal. That's a coward and a coward. The ancient emperor, just like this, got Wu Yu right. If you don't go back, even if you become an immortal in the future and go to the heavenly palace, she will also disappear. How will you fulfill your promise to meet her in the heavenly palace? How many nights of long talks, looking back when parting, her smile and gentleness, her beauty, everything is engraved in Wu Yu's heart. Seeing each other in the heavenly palace is Wu Yu's huge goal and the driving force for his progress. Is the goal that he will crawl towards in that direction even if he dies. The reality at this moment is that she is about to fall before becoming an immortal. Moreover, it was because of Wu Yu. The ancient emperor's target has always been Wu Yu. Remember, I will give you one day to think about it. 5 things, 3 immortal inheritances, a floating tower, plus the body of your ancestor, the heaven-devouring demon ancestor, none of them can be missing. Otherwise, she will inevitably before you become an immortal, you will die. Wu Yu, don't take any chances. Otherwise, even if you have a chance, you will live in regret for the rest of your life, a man who does not even dare to save the woman you love. What is it? Even worse than a beast, right? Haha. He laughed wildly in front of Wu Yu's eyes with Feng Shui's face. Because he succeeded. The Shenlong clan is indeed a little proud. They have great faith in their magic circle. Wu Yu has no way to communicate with Luo Bin. After all, they are 2 worlds apart. He had no way of judging whether all this was true or false, but because it was related to Luo Bin's life and death. How could he hesitate? The Four Seas Dragon Palace. In the final analysis, Wu Yu and the Shenlong clan underestimated the ancient emperor Xuanhuan. Wu Yu had overestimated him as much as possible, but he didn't expect that he could grasp his Achilles heel so clearly. His Achilles heel was not Wu Yu or Feng Shui. The biggest Achilles heel now was Luo Bin. Luo Bin could not leave the world of Jambu, so he knew that it would be useless no matter where Wu Yu went. He will go back. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Feng Qingyang. Chapter 1206. The ancient emperor asked Feng Shui to follow Wu Yu, just to convey key news to him. Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow Diamond Suit. The The real Feng Xiya is considered dead. Fortunately, he still has a little bit of conscience, and Wu Yu is normal. She was also panicking now. Su Yanli and Zhu Ying knew that Feng Xiya represented the gods of the Jamfu world, but they couldn't tell them at all. The master died. Su Yanli's face was filled with tears, and she looked at all this helplessly. Just now, she was talking to Feng Shuya with respect, and Feng Shuya was the same as usual, no different. Little did he know that the sky would collapse in an instant. Feng Xiya is dead, and Luo Ben is in danger. No one can escape fate. If you are born in my world, everything you get is destined to be mine. So, I still say that 5 things are indispensable. Otherwise, I can only endure the pain. Let the ancient immortal spirit dragon taste the pain. Wu Yu, think about it, what is the most important? Feng Shuya smiled, then turned to laugh. At a certain point, his smile suddenly slowly dissipated. In his last gaze, his expression began to fade and his spirit disappeared. Then he fell to the ground, and the trace of immortal god he left on Feng Xiya dissipated at this time. Feng Xiya became a real corpse and fell in front of Wu Yu. His face was still as calm as before. At this time, he was Wu Yu's real master, but after all, he was already gone. In fact, truly counting, he had lost his life long after he was controlled by the ancient emperor. Master Su Yanli stepped forward and helped him up, but unfortunately, it was just a cold corpse. For Wu Yu, this was a double blow. Feng Xiya is dead. Luo concubine, the ancient emperor gave me one day. Maybe this time, Wu Yu lost the gate to the ancient demon world, which made him panic. He was anxious to harvest. Now, there is silence in the infinite worship. What to do is a big problem. It can even be said that it is miserable. Wu Yu has been cultivating Taoism until now, and it is not that he has never encountered death crises, but basically he has been able to turn danger into safety and win in the end. However, this time the blow was unprecedented. It's like going against heaven and the whole world. The ancient emperor Xuanhuan controls everything. It was him who killed Feng Shuya, Wu Yu's mentor. Now, he wants to make Luo Ben lose all hope and let Wu Yu's alliances be in vain. Master! Su Yanli burst into tears. She was almost brought up by Feng Shuya, and he was almost her father. Unfortunately, there are only cold bodies now. The ancient Emperor Lion opened his mouth. He wants everything. He wants the inheritance of Wu Yu's Monkey King, the inheritance of Nanshan Wanjiu's Canopy Marshal, and the inheritance of Ye 11's Rolling Curtain General. He even has his eye on the floating life tower, and of course, he has no intention of letting go of the sky-swallowing body. A day to think about it is better to say a day of torture. At this moment, Nanshan Wanjiu, Yezixi and others were all looking at Wu Yu. Wu Yu, on the other hand, fell into the whirlpool of hatred and found it difficult to extricate himself. He hadn't been so out of his mind for a long time. I tried my best to restrain myself, but there was nothing I could do. This disaster came so suddenly. Until Feng Xiya fell to the ground, there was not much time left for them to react. Wu Yu is now filled with the power of hatred. He must vent it. Otherwise, he will not be able to calm down and make the calmest decision in this situation. He is even afraid of making a calm decision by himself because the ancient emperor did not give him any advice. What choice does he have? He is not a coward or a coward. He cannot retreat. He does not want to regret it for the rest of his life. If Luo Ben dies because of this, the ancient emperor will indeed fail to succeed, but Wu Yu will also destroy himself. He seemed to be in an endless sea of fire, burning and blackened, but unable to escape. Nanshan Wanjiu's face was also pale, and he must have been panicked like never before. However, he still said firmly at this moment, "Wu Yu, don't think about us. It's not easy for us to get to where we are today. Of course, I, Nanshan Wanjiao, really I'm afraid of death, but since we said we are brothers and we said we will fight together, I will never take a step back. No matter what you say, I will go with you on this trip to Jambu world. Well, I'm not suitable either. What to say, anyway, I think I would rather live in peace than regret it in the future. I have been with you for too long, and I don't want to be compared to you. He said a lot of things to convince himself. In fact, it was also to convince Wu Yu. He is very determined. This is not at all like him, who usually seems a little greedy and afraid of death. You know, it takes a lot of courage to say something like this. Yezixi even said, anyway, it was Brother Yu who helped me to leave the lava hell. Otherwise, my life is meaningless. So, no matter what happens in the future, I need to make efforts. I will never hesitate at all, I will follow you to save Sister Luo Bin. They were the people who Wu Yu had requested to bring with him at the request of the ancient emperor. The ancient emperor said that without them, nothing would work. Concubine Luo, she still has to die. However, no matter how willing Nanshan and Yezixi are, this is still a bigger problem for Wu Yu. It was true that he wanted to save his beloved, but how could he possibly ask his brothers and sisters to die with him? All of this was the torture and contradiction brought to him by the ancient emperor. Wu Yu clearly remembered how cruel this moment was, and how fierce his hatred for the ancient emperor was. This chapter is not over, please click on the next page to continue reading. This was several times more cruel than when Immortal Haoshan gave him the 100 soul powder. After all, at that time, Immortal Haoshan only hurt himself. However, now the ancient emperor not only wants to hurt him, but also kills his mentor, his lover, his brother and sister. This is to rob Wu Yu of everything. Minglong sighed, well, it's over now. You are so miserable. Born in such a world of Jambu and meeting such gods, to be honest, there is really nothing you can do. Who makes you unlucky? This, if you think about it, this is not a problem of your ability or your IQ, but fundamentally, the ancient emperor and you are not on the same level. He knows everything about you, but you know nothing about him. Think about it, you are just a little ant without intelligence. If the other party stretches out his finger, he will play with you as much as he wants. Shut up, Wu Yu didn't need her to analyze him. He knows it all. There is no need for you to be angry with me. I know that you hate him so much that you explode like never before. You want to kill him and take revenge now, but this is simply impossible. Maybe I am the only one who is awake now. I can also provide you with some strategies, Wu Yu, just listen to me, stop thinking now, you have let madness engulf you, and if you continue like this, you won't be able to solve anything. Minglong said anxiously. In fact, what she said was indeed right. Although Wu Yu was standing on the spot with his fists clenched, his eyes were completely blood red and his whole body was on fire. Under the hatred, he could not think normally at all. This is normal. The person who died now was his mentor, and the person who was kidnapped was his lover. If he could still handle it calmly, then he would no longer be Wu Yu. Even a god might not be able to do it. What do you think? How can I deal with a god? Wu Yu asked almost madly, and he roared. Even more than just a god, the most important thing is that maybe he paid attention to Wu Yu when Wu Yu was very weak, and he knew everything about Wu Yu. He knew Wu Yu well, and that was the scariest thing. Because he will make all the arrangements. For example, Luo Bin's arrangement left Wu Yu really powerless. Minglong said loudly, then listen carefully. Looking at all your creations, the one that surprised me the most is your sky-swallowing body. All along, you have been maintaining it to prevent him from surpassing the original body and preventing him from falling. For the heaven-devouring demon ancestor, when is it now? Your master has been killed, and your woman is about to die. No matter what the world is, only the body of the heaven-swallowing one can make it possible for you. there is a slight possibility of confronting the ancient emperor, and it is the only way to exceed his expectations. What are you doing here? In one day, you might as well see what will happen after the sky-swallowing body transcends the original body. Come again, get angry at me. Mingtaki is really awake. In the past, whenever she encountered any situation or danger, she would always use a joking tone to talk to Wu Yu, which seemed very informal. But this time, she was also angry, and Wu Yu was surrounded by hatred. Now he only had self-blame, regret, hardship, pain, anger, hatred, so many emotions, plus about Feng Shui, all the scenes of Yat and Luo Bin, all the oaths of friendship, had an unprecedented impact on his brain. It was good enough that he didn't go crazy. He really couldn't expect Wu Yu to be calm at this time. If he was really calm, it can only be said that he doesn't care about Feng Shui's death, nor does he care about Luo Bin. But on the contrary, he cares so much that he now wishes to cut the Yanhuang ancient emperor into pieces on the spot in order to relieve the hatred in his heart. You're right. If I can't even save her, I won't care about the common people or the destruction of the world. Your idea is very selfish, but I like it very much. Maybe I made a wrong decision today, but you won't regret it. His real body looked at himself with white hair and bloody eyes. The sky-swallowing body with white hair and bloody eyes looked at Wu Yu's body. After becoming a sky-swallowing behemoth, Wu Yu didn't really show off his terror, but at this moment, what else could he care about? Only devour. 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 In Wu Yu's eyes, all he could see was the giant sky-devouring beast. I want to live, and she also wants to become an immortal. We want to meet in the palace of heaven, and then live forever. Tears fell from Wu Yu's eyes. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1207. Sometimes, the things you desire most may turn out to be more difficult the further you go. For example, I once wanted to go to the Shuangxian Palace with Nangang Wei, but failed. The conflict of Tao at that moment made Wu Yu understand that this had become impossible. It wasn't that he gave up, Nangang Wei gave up even more. Now, they hold on to their own dreams and want to become immortals smoothly. They want to be free in the heavenly palace and no one can restrain them anymore. But now, ancient Emperor Yanhuang stands in the middle and controls their life and death. Maybe with just one thought from him, all the dreams and desires of Wu Yu and Luo Bin would disappear. Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow. Wu Yu refused to accept it. Ming Tong provided him with a possibility, even if this possibility was quite crazy, and he didn't even know if it would be effective. Wu Yu didn't know how far he could control the sky-swallowing body, let alone how far the sky-swallowing body could grow. He didn't know anything. He only knew that he had to put aside some distracting thoughts and moral constraints now. Go devour. Maybe at this moment, he is the sky-swallowing giant beast or the sky-swallowing demon ancestor. As long as he thinks of Feng Xia, Luo concubine, and the ancient Emperor Yanhuang, his heart is already extremely cruel. It can be said that he may have been possessed by a demon, but in the face of this reality, he has no regrets. Wait for me here, Nanshan, protect them. Wu Yu took a deep breath. With a dull look on his face, he stored Feng Shui's body and placed it in the Fuxian Tower first. Among Yanhuangju's former treasures, there were also some crystal coffins that could preserve corpses permanently. Master, my disciple is incompetent and has made you suffer. Disciple Wu Yu, I swear here that if I don't take revenge for this, I hope that the sky will strike with thunder and I will never be able to live again. Don't close your eyes for now. When I get through this difficulty, one day, I will kill Yanhuang ancient emperor with my hand and sacrifice his dog's blood to you. After finishing speaking, his body and the sky-swallowing body stood up at the same time, preparing to walk out. Brother, what do you want to do? I told you, don't face this matter alone. Nanshan Wanjiao, can be afraid of death at any time, but this time, I won't. Nanshan Wanjiao wanted to stop him. Wu Yu patted his shoulder and said, don't worry, give me a day and I'll make some preparations. Make a decision when you come back. Anyway, if you think about it this way, this brother is indeed worth it. Brother Yu, do you want to let the body of swallowing the sky? Yezixi was quite smart and guessed it right away. Wu Yu nodded, stay here safely. No matter what you do, don't forget, I will support you. Wu Yu calmed down and said to Wu Yu with tears in his eyes. Sister, don't worry. He was as calm as possible. It turns out that she is still his half-sister, and they still have such a deep blood relationship. Wu Yu was shattered by the dream of the emperor's son. Looking at Wu Yu now, he realized that the dream was really ridiculous and ridiculous. How could he and Wu Yu not be siblings? Brother Yu, don't forget me. You and I have the same enemy, a life and death feud. Yezixi gritted his teeth. She wanted to tell Wu Yu this. Actually, Wu Yu smiled and said, it's better this way. I won't be ashamed of you. Zixi. Brother Yu never needs to be ashamed of me, Yezixi said seriously. Okay, it's not about life and death. Wait for my news. The ancient emperor said that it might take him a day to destroy the magic circle. This time Wu Yu lost the gate to the ancient demon world, which must have frightened him. He quickly confessed the truth to Wu Yu and was ready to take action. Actually, you are very lucky to have such a group of good friends and relatives. They are all supporting you and willing to die for you. But at that time, I was alone. Wu Yu, to be honest, I think these are all fate. At that time I failed in the struggle, and it is useless to inherit such a powerful inheritance, but I don't want you to fail. You are better than me, Ming Long said. Yes, they are all my most precious treasures. Wu Yu knew very well what was most important in his heart. For them, it doesn't matter what you become. His main body was fully armed, and all the heavenly spiritual weapons were ready, and his clone, the sky-swallowing body, was also ready. Then, just devour it to your heart's content. No limits, no limits. He has never been so happy as he is now. His sky-swallowing body is extremely hungry, but he has always been patient. Until this day, the obstacle of one day disappeared, and the sky-swallowing body has long been hungry to the extreme. Almost going crazy. Wu Yu first moved away from the sea area where the infinite warship was located. He came to the mainland, where the battlefield of the 8 demon gods was. After learning that the Rose Demon Queen had snatched the key, almost all the other top demons gathered towards the side. Come on, there are quite a few people who are at the 9th or 10th level of the Dao realm. Demon gods. They are all still looking for Wu Yu. As for Wu Yu, he didn't hide it at all at this time. He appeared on top of a group of demons, holding the gate to the ancient demon world in his hand, and said downwards, did you see it? This is the key to other worlds. Anyone who wants to make meritorious deeds, come and grab it. This time, the demons went crazy. Some were anxious and notified their demon gods, and some directly used their natal magical powers and rushed toward Wu Yu. There were quite a few of them. Wu Yu held the Yama Pillar and the Yanhuang Dragon Seal, while the Devouring Heaven body held the 9-star Dragon Abyss, the Shanghao Tower, the Yama World Scroll, and many other heavenly spirit Dao tools. At this moment, Wu Yu didn't care about any consumption. He changed directly to the strongest state, holding the Yama Pillar in his hand. This chapter is not over yet. Please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content. The Gate of 10,000 Hells. The huge Yama pillar bombarded and pushed all the demons rushing up back and suppressed them on the ground. A large area around it turned into the Gate of Hell. Various monsters appeared and tore the demons apart one by one. It was extremely cruel. At this moment, Wu Yu had no mercy at all. The Devouring Heaven body with white blood eyes directly shuttled into the vortex below. Those demons struggling in it became the objects of his devouring. No matter what realm, no matter what degree, no matter whether they were male or magnetic, they were all devoured. Wherever the 9-star dragon abyss went, all were killed, and then the black fog burned and swept over. No matter what kind of demon it was, there would be no corpse left in the end. When it became rampant, the body of the devouring heaven was indeed terrifying. Wu Yu had been controlling this body all the time. When it was not controlled, he himself did not know what the devouring heaven body would become. Anyway, devour. Devour. Devour the world. All living beings, all demons. After devouring the demons, the demonic aura of the devouring heaven body became heavier and heavier. Ancient Emperor Yanhuang. Wu Yu's hatred for him became clear little by little. Everything he encountered in Dongsheng Shenzhou was not his design. Those were all real. His father, who focused on state affairs and didn't care much about them, the immortal Haoshan, the Feng Xia, and the son Wuodao, were not him. They were all real, especially the son Wuodao. Ruyi Jingbang, that was what he deserved, not what he gave to him. In this way, Wu Yu had no psychological pressure at all. When the opponent's fangs were exposed, there was no need to worry about it. He could only fight to the death. You are so good, Wu Yu, you dare to kill my people. These were all demons of the 9 infants god. Soon after, Wu Yu heard the 9 infants god coming in anger, and he saw the 9-headed beast flying in the distance. The key is in my hand, you have the guts to take it, Wu Yu sneered, and the body of the heaven devourer instantly returned to his side and returned to the floating life tower. Before the 9 infants god arrived, Wu Yu directly used the somersault cloud and left here in a blink of an eye, leaving the 9 infants god empty-handed. But the demons here are everywhere, and they are everywhere vying for the door to the ancient demon world. Just now, the body of the heaven devourer had already made great gains. He was constantly getting stronger. When Wu Yu used his body to kill for him several times in a row, specifically for him to devour, the power gathered in his body had gradually surpassed Wu Yu. The power of his all-things spirit alone was no different from that of an ordinary 10th level Taoist. But this took less than half an hour. For Wu Yu's current determination, this is just the beginning. Not only in the 6th place, but also in the sea, there are a large number of demons. Kill. Wu Yu rushed to the sea and showed the door to the ancient demon world. Suddenly, all the strange-looking demons in the sea were killed without a care for their lives, including the 10th level of the realm of Taoism. It was a fierce battle. Wu Yu ignored those weak demons and killed the 10th level of the realm of Taoism. He and his clones joined forces to attack with rough Taoist weapons to kill the opponent, and then let the body of the swallowing sky devour. After another half an hour, when he devoured 7 or 8 10th level of the realm of Taoism, Wu Yu had already realized that the body of the swallowing sky at this time was simply at the peak of the world. He seemed to be stuck at a node. Wu Yu could clearly feel the existence of that node, as if breaking through this node would give him a new fortune. Continue. Once the demon god caught up, he immediately fled, and no matter which demon god it was, he would only be able to hit nothing. Wu Yu absolutely did not want to fight. Because Wu Yu was so rampant, the demon gods who were originally looking for the Wuji worship were all affected by him. After all, they couldn't watch their people being killed by Wu Yu like this. So they could only order the younger generation to escape, but it was useless to escape. Wu Yu chased them all the way. As the horror of the devouring heaven body increased, his eyes became more and more red. Even demons of the level of Xiaopeng demon would be killed directly when they encountered the devouring heaven body. Wu Yu simply let the devouring heaven body use the Yama pillar, which was even more lethal. A gate of 10,000 hells could make a large number of demons fall directly into hell, and then let him swallow them all. Swallow, break through. Break through. Even if I'm still very hungry after eating until now. Perfect anti-theft chapter. Please use the search engine to search for keywords, All kinds of novels are available for you to watch. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1208. In this ancient world of ancient demons that hide deep secrets, a giant beast full of secrets is quietly growing. Wu Yu looked at his sky-swallowing body with his true body. His eyes were even more blood-red, and they looked exactly like his own, with long and fluttering snow-white eyes. The change was not big, but invisibly, the majestic demonic energy that had swallowed up many demons, that gloomy, domineering, and manic feeling, will make people think that this is a peerless monster. Because it was his own body, Wu Yu couldn't feel its fearful aura, but he could clearly feel that the sky-swallowing body was changing. This was an unprecedented change that the sky-swallowing body had never experienced before. Experienced such changes. In fact, he knew that until the current position, the sky-swallowing body was equivalent to the infant stage. He was just a simple ball of mist, very fragile. He doesn't have many abilities. Apart from relying on Taoist tools, his only ability is one move, return. It's difficult for him to take the initiative to attack. If it weren't for the protection of his body, it would be difficult for him to grow to the level he is now. But now, he was about to change. Wu Yu clearly felt that every particle in his body was restless and moving in another direction. He became more and more like a monster. But not essentially. The sky-swallowing behemoth will move closer to whatever it swallows. It's not about stopping, you can't stop. You have to continue, otherwise, facing the ancient emperor, it will still have no effect. Now that you have made your choice. Now that he has convinced himself, since this is the only hope, up to this moment, even though this sky-swallowing body has made Wu Yu feel a certain degree of fear, he still remains firm in his belief, and he has never regretted it at all. Those monsters were all fleeing under Wu Yu's attack, but they couldn't escape Wu Yu's speed. Wu Yu could often intercept them in front of them and kill them all. Unless the demon gods personally protect them. Even at this level, Wu Yu would not let go of even the demons in the Yuanshen realm. They all came up to follow the demon gods to other worlds and occupy other worlds. The demon gods are not that kind. They all go there with the idea of occupying other worlds. But Wu Yu gradually discovered that even if he swallowed the demon at the 10th level of the Dao realm, his sky-swallowing body was a kind of repeated accumulation. He might be able to continue to become stronger, but he would not be able to reach another realm. Now, Wu Yu is extremely eager for the arrival of another realm. This time, he must let the swallowing body reach a new level. Could it be that I want to devour the demon god? Wu Yu's blood-red eyes looked to the west. He thought of a demon god. Of course, it was the Blood Sea Peng demon. He was seriously injured. In the end, he used burning blood escape and fled in a hurry. If other demon gods hadn't been chasing Wu Yu, he would have been caught up and then killed. After all, the world of ancient demons is so big, and he may not be able to escape anywhere if he is so badly injured. After thinking of him, Wu Yu couldn't bear it anymore. Especially the body that swallows the sky is even harder to bear. Devour the demon god. I never dared to think about it before, it was so crazy. Demon gods and demons are not in the same realm of life. If the ancient demon world were not special, they would have gone to the demon god realm. They are the gods of the ancient demon world and control everything here. When they are angry, they can cause millions of corpses to be buried, mountains and rivers to be broken, and the world to be shaken. He is aloof and despises the existence of all living beings. But for Wu Yu, and for his decision-making at this moment, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, because the Blood Sea Peng demon was only seriously injured this time. How could he possibly have a chance to fight the demon god on a normal day? Blood Sea Rock Demon. A monster who killed thousands of monsters for bloodlust. It's a pity that he is not a giant sky-devouring beast. He bites and devours, but cannot make himself stronger. Wu Yu didn't have much time. Without saying a word this time, he returned to the sea, to the infinite warship. "Brother Yu, why are you back?" Yezixi was confused. "Can it find the Blood Sea Rock Demon for me?" Wu Yu asked, pointing to the Wanhee cat in her arms. The previous battle between the 8 demon gods left many remains of the Blood Sea Pen demon. With just a drop of blood and a feather, even the demon god can find him if he is lazy. But, how could my brother find the demon god? Yet 1111 knew what he was going out for, so he was a little worried. "That'll do." Wu Yu took Lalan Mao away and was hugged by Wu Yu. Lalan Mao was still a little nervous, but he soon got over it under Yezixi's comfort. Now Fusion Tower can accommodate about 2 people, so it's no problem to bring Lalan Mao along. "Be good, help brother Yu find the great demon god," Yezixi said to Wanhee Mao. Meow. Wanhee cat can also feel the current crisis. The atmosphere is very miserable. It is a little scared, but it also wants to help. Wu Yu took Lalan Mao with him, and he appeared again this time. He was a little indifferent now. He took Lalan Mao to the previous battlefield and found the feathers, blood drops, flesh and blood left by the Blood Sea Pen demon, and then Lalan Mao appeared again. The lazy cat guides the way. This magical spirit of all things in the sky has the ability to track. Even in its ability to track. But no matter what the opponent is, even the demon god cannot escape its pursuit. Meow meow. On the way, Lalan Mao seemed to be comforting Wu Yu. He looked at Wu Yu, stretched out his little tongue, and gently licked Wu Yu's arm. "Good." Wu Yu touched its head. Maybe, the mood calmed down a little. Be able to think and deal with such an extremely difficult situation. This chapter is not over yet, please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content. However, the mania and hunger of the devouring heaven body cannot be concealed, especially when it is getting closer and closer to the Blood Sea Pen demon. He wants to fight the demon god with the devouring heaven body. What surprised Wu Yu was that the Blood Sea Pen demon did not run towards the west of the Blood Sea, but was not far away. It seems that he still doesn't give up and wants to get the key first. In this way, he has the right to speak. Only then can he take revenge. He is still looking for Wu Yu in secret, but he is more cautious, and because he is not far away, it is easier for Lazy Cat to find him. When approaching, Wu Yu let Lazy Cat enter the floating life tower, and then, his heaven-devouring body was in the front, holding the Yama pillar and many heavenly spirit Deo tools. He could not wait for a moment and chase the Blood Sea Pen demon at the fastest speed. The speed of the heaven-devouring body was even faster than Wu Yu's body driving the somersault cloud. This shows that the heaven-devouring body has completely surpassed Wu Yu's body. In front of him was an abyss, and the Blood Sea Pen demon was under this abyss. It was probably to temporarily heal for a while. "Come out, make a deal with you, the key is in my hand." As soon as Wu Yu entered the abyss, the deep voice of his heaven-devouring body spread all over the abyss. He went in directly with the heaven-devouring body, and his body was watching outside, because a skinny camel is bigger than a horse. This time, he was ready to let the heaven-devouring body fight to the death. "Luo Ben, wait for me." Wu Yu looked at the sky and breathed heavily. His body of swallowing the sky, like a beast, was not afraid at all. Looking at the huge blood-red demon god that appeared below, he was still covered with rotten flesh and blood. There were still a lot of magical powers of the other 7 demon gods in his body, which were still ravaging his body and causing him more serious damage. Especially the last blood-burning escape, which burned nearly half of his blood. In fact, now he was just struggling on the edge of life and death. But even so, he still had no problem dealing with the 10th level in the realm of asking questions. Of course, Wu Yu was just looking at him as if he were looking at food. For Wu Yu, no matter how serious his injuries were, it would not affect his flesh and blood, and the transformation it brought to the body of swallowing the sky. Swallow, digest. Take everything from him for yourself, this is a swallowing sky beast. You are so brave. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't be here today. Tell me, what kind of deal do you want to make with me? The Blood Sea Pen Demon only glanced at Wu Yu's devouring heaven body, and then stared at Wu Yu's real body above the abyss. He only thought that the devouring heaven body was a clone. A clone, he, a great demon god, didn't care. The deal is, I will take you to the world of Yamafu, and you will exchange your life for it. The blood-red eyes of the devouring heaven body shone on him, full of bloodthirstiness. This made the Blood Sea Pen Demon stunned for a moment, and then burst into laughter, but the first moment he laughed, the devouring heaven body held the Yamafu heaven pillar and killed it directly, while Wu Yu's real body was in the distance, controlling other Tianling Dao tools to assist the devouring heaven body. The Blood Sea Pen Demon really didn't expect that even a cultivator would dare to attack him. In his astonishment, Wu Yu's heaven-devouring body used the Yama pillar to hit him on the head, smashing his head to the ground, and he was almost knocked unconscious. Are you crazy? The Blood Sea Pen Demon cursed, but before he could come to his senses while cursing, he was suppressed by Wu Yu again. On top of it, Wu Yu's original body used his whole body to stand upright, manipulated the Yanhuang dragon seal, and suppressed it with the ancient double dragon absolute immortal formation, and hit it again on the top of his head. The Blood Sea Pen Demon was indeed at the end of his strength, otherwise he would not let Wu Yu suppress him like this. The most terrifying attack still came from the heaven-devouring body. His power was terrifying. At this time, the Yama pillar in his hand hit the Blood Sea Pen Demon's forehead several times every moment, causing the Blood Sea Pen Demon to have no chance to breathe and was smashed half to death. He was shocked by how Wu Yu's clone could have such a terrifying power. This is simply several times more than the 10th level of the ordinary realm of Taoism. Boom boom boom. The entire Blood Sea Pen Demon was pressed to the ground by Wu Yu with the Yanhuang dragon seal. When he couldn't move, he was smashed to death by the Yamabu Tianzu. You are looking for death, the Blood Sea Pen Demon screamed loudly. Wu Yu said nothing. The body of the devouring heaven was like crazy, but that was also Wu Yu himself. And Wu Yu's original body, looking at his other body, remembered a picture. It was as if in the forest, a boy was holding a stick and smashing a wild wolf crazily. He wanted to smash the wild wolf to death as his own food because he was too hungry. The law of the jungle is the rule of this world. Who made this wild wolf injured and dying? Perfect Anti-Theft Chapter. Please use the search engine to search for keywords. Various novels are available for you to watch. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1209. In the wild world, the forest. Beasts abound. Strong beasts feed on weaker beasts. Carnivores, feed on herbivores. Herbivores eat grass as food, and grass comes from the sun and moisture from the rain. People even join in, feeding on powerful beasts and standing at the top of the food chain. This is the law of this world and the law of all worlds. The old and the new replace each other, and survival is instinctive. In order to survive, you have to eat. The ascetics seem to have jumped out of this circle, but in fact they are also within this circle. But now, Wu Yu can only understand his sky-swallowing body better. He is like a small beast. He must eat to survive. To become stronger, he must devour. There is no good or evil in this, only laws. The majestic Blood Sea Rock Demon faced the 7 demon gods. He is also quite domineering and would rather die than surrender, but now, under the crazy bombardment of Wu Yu's sky-devouring body, 10,000 gates of hell and 8,000 heavenly palaces were shattered and destroyed, bombarding him one after another. And because of the huge consumption, he couldn't even use a single magical power. Wu Yu, what do you want to do? Killing me will do you no good at all. There is absolutely no need for you to do this. After being successively destroyed by magic circles such as the 10,000 layers of Hell's Gate, his injuries worsened a lot and have reached a tragic level. Now, he is really scared. But no one answered him at all. The sky-swallowing body with blood-red eyes did not become weaker at this time, but became even crazier. The ferocious blow was not only used by Yanfu Tianzu, but also by Juxing Longyuan. There is also a picture of the world of Yanfu, and all the magical formations have been used in the Hao Pagoda. Now the Blood Sea Rock demons are swallowed up by his magical formations. Are you sick? The Blood Sea Peng Mo felt aggrieved. He couldn't understand Wu Yu's movements at all. Wu Yu's body did not move anymore, but looked at him from a high place. This indifferent look made the Blood Sea Peng demon unable to help but despair. He still hasn't figured it out? Why? Why? The Blood Sea Rock demon's consciousness has dimmed. He is probably the first demon god in history to be killed by a monk. It can be regarded as a record. The key is that he couldn't figure out what Wu Yu's purpose was until his death. Because Wu Yu didn't speak, but the indifferent look of the sky-swallowing body looking at him made him feel sincere. Inner fear. What kind of gaze is this? Is this the gaze of a hungry wolf when it sees food? The Blood Sea Peng Mo suddenly thought of it. He felt that Wu Yu was going to eat him. However, now that I want to understand, it seems a bit too late, because the sky-devouring body was acting like crazy. At this time, a piece of flesh flew out from the Blood Sea Peng demon, and Wu Yu, with blood-eyed white hair, caught it in his mouth. With one bite, his mouth was filled with blood, and after a few chews, it was eaten by Wu Yu. The meat of the demon god is so unpalatable after eating it, the words of the sky-swallowing body made the Blood Sea Peng demon despair in fear. He seemed to have seen an unparalleled nightmare. This was for him as a demon god. The scene that still frightened everyone was not Wu Yu's powerful body in the sky, but the sky-devouring body in front of him. His fiery, crazy eyes, and scarlet gaze made a demon god's hair stand on end. At this moment, Wu Yu licked away the blood from the corner of his mouth and said, "The blood tastes pretty good, maybe you like it too." He subconsciously said this. After saying this, Wu Yu felt that he seemed to have changed psychologically and even mentally. He had become ferocious, bloodthirsty, and crazy. His subconscious told him to continue. If so, it might be very troublesome. But the ancient emperor didn't give me a chance to stop. Otherwise, how could I let Luo Bin live? How could I avenge my mentor? Haha. He didn't want to stop for a moment. The Blood Sea Rock demon was screaming in agony. Wu Yu smashed his head into pieces. Blood splashed everywhere, and his feathers were everywhere. At this time, the Blood Sea the Peng demon was in a blur. Having already returned to the west, the body of a demon god appeared in front of Wu Yu. The sky-swallowing body finally waited for this moment, and he couldn't wait any longer. Buzz. In the first moment, he transformed into black mist, sweeping up even a tiny bit of the demon god's blood that was splashed around, and integrated it into his body. His huge black vortex formed a huge sphere, surrounding the body of the Blood Sea Peng demon. He devoured it to his heart's content, forgetting everything. He was getting stronger at a terrifying speed, and under the eyes of Wu Yu himself, within half an hour, the black mist sphere gradually from a gas to a solid, it transformed into a dark, ellipsoid-shaped giant egg. This reminded Wu Yu of the egg he once was. He knew deeply that there must be a real change before he could become an egg again. Only then will there be a leap in the realm of life. For example, Phoenix Nirvana has never been able to achieve a huge level of power, and there is an incredible transformation. Wu Yu even feels that this transformation is definitely similar to that of a mortal becoming an immortal. He can completely regard it as his other body. The body that swallowed the sky has become an immortal. It doesn't matter if it's a god, a ghost, or a demon. This was the transformation of all gods into immortals, and Wu Yu didn't know what it was. All gods are born from heaven and earth. Basically, they are at their strongest as soon as they are born. They rarely become stronger. They are all gods at the level of gods. Once they reach the level of gods, they are at the level of gods. A few who can become stronger will also become attached to their master, such as Lalan Mao, who is attached to Yezixi, and it has a certain chance of becoming stronger. Only the sky-devouring beast can rely on devouring to become stronger. Even from a mortal stage, it can transform into a fairy stage. Wu Yu's current sky-devouring body. After devouring the blood and flesh essence of the blood sea pen demon and waiting to slowly digest it, entered a dormant state, as if he was asleep. During this period, his body has undergone earth-shaking changes. His body is awake, but he can't see clearly what changes are under the black eggshell. All he knows is that it is a grand rebirth. Continuously getting stronger. The demon god is indeed another kind of life. After devouring the 10th level of the realm of Taoism, the sky-devouring body has changed very little, and now, after the object is programmed as a demon god, it is a direct transformation. He is waiting patiently. It's less than half a day, and he still has time to go. He must be prepared for the craziest. He has to face the ancient emperor, so he has no choice. He can only let himself reach the extreme within a limited time, even if it is uncontrollable. Even if there is no hope at all. Wu Yu was not disappointed. His body could feel the rapid growth of the devouring heaven body. It was like a person could clearly see his arm becoming thicker and stronger, and even changed from a human arm to a giant beast arm, completing a qualitative change. After another half an hour, he felt that the devouring heaven body had become a demon god. At least it could be said that it was at the level of a demon god. That terrifying power was simply incomprehensible to mortals. He truly understood what level the demon god was at. How different it was from a cultivator. Of course, he was a devouring heaven beast, and it was difficult for him to have any understanding of the Tao, but he could devour everything. He did not need to understand it himself, and he could deprive everything. Now he had just devoured it, and he had some thoughts and memories of the Tao belonging to the blood sea pen demon, but they were quite chaotic. However, after a period of time, he sorted it out, and then he would be equivalent to the existence of a real demon god. Wu Yu vaguely realized that the devouring heaven body had reached a higher level. Not only did it devour the essence of flesh and blood, but it also devoured the understanding of the Tao of refining, and even the memory. He said, the devouring demon ancestor. How could it be so simple? After devouring the demon god, there are even some memories of his innate magical powers, which are still in chaos, but Wu Yu has noticed that he may be able to display the innate magical powers of the blood sea pen demon after a period of sorting and digestion. Terrible. Devouring is not just the essence of flesh and blood. There are also memories, magical powers, the perception of Tao, and all the realms of the devoured. Although these are temporarily vague and chaotic, Wu Yu felt that they really exist. However, these are not the most important. More importantly, Wu Yu's devouring heaven body really has the feeling of flesh and blood. The state of black fog was real, and the white hair and blood eyes were transformed, and the essence was still black fog. But now, outside the black fog state, after solidification, it has truly changed into flesh and blood. This god of all things, like the lazy cat, has flesh and blood. It should be said that because of the majestic demonic energy, it is more like a demon. Of course, what really looks like is a demon god. Under Wu Yu's extremely expectant gaze, the eggshell gradually broke. He controlled his heaven-devouring body. He was inside, tearing the eggshell, but even he didn't know what he would look like inside the eggshell. A giant beast rushed out from inside. From a vague point of view, it seemed to be roughly humanoid. It rushed to Wu Yu's body and stopped. Wu Yu could see it clearly through his body's eyes. It was covered with black dragon scales, which were somewhat similar to those of the refining god demon dragon. It looked like a human-shaped dragon. A sturdy body that was more like a human. It had a head, arms, and feet. Under the arms were sharp claws like dragon claws. The feet were also extremely sturdy, especially the knees and elbows, where sharp knives were directly stabbed. On the back, with the spine inside as the line, a large number of sharp spikes were stabbed out on the spine, which were sharp and pointed. The further down the spikes went, the more a slender tail was extended, which was pitch black and extremely slender, and the end was like a sharp gun tip. Behind him, there are huge wings that are like steel, or two large side blades. And that head. It is very much like a dragon, but not a dragon, more ferocious, sharper, with a pair of blood-red eyes, and a pure snow-white horn on the forehead, which is also quite sharp. Such a beast, and like a human, is ferocious, domineering, cruel, and has fangs, which are even more greedy, especially those teeth, as if everything in the world can be torn apart. Even though this is his own body, Wu Yu was deeply shocked. In fact, it is somewhat similar to Zhuiying. Zhuiying is more inclined to beast shape, and he also has wings, but it is more human-shaped. Zhuiying also has a tail and spikes. Zhuiying has 9 ferocious heads, but compared with Wu Yu's swallowing body, it is not ferocious. Fangs, white horn, blood-red eyes, shaped like an evil dragon, not as long as the dragon head, with this human-shaped body, it is very natural. This is not a kind person, but a ferocious devouring machine born in this world. He was born to kill and stands at the top of the food chain. Please use the search engine to search for the keyword Yunlei Pavilion Perfect Anti-Theft Chapter. Various novels are available for you to read. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1210. How should Wu Yu describe this transformed sky-swallowing body? Whether it is the white horn, the blood-red eyes, the rows of sharp fangs, the bone spurs, the long tail, the wings, or the nearly human-like but thicker torso with weapons everywhere on it, every aspect is amazing. It makes people feel that this is a machine born for fighting and killing. Every part of his body possesses ultimate lethality. Wu Yu originally thought that even if the body of swallowing the sky had flesh and blood, it might be like the giant beast of Jambudvipa in the Jambudvipa pillar, with a big mouth, a big head, dragging a long body, like a big bug. Unexpectedly, it would be like this. The jet black dragon scales are extremely thick. After swallowing the demon god, its body structure has also reached the level of a blood-sucking sea rock demon. At this moment, the sky-devouring body appears in this world in the form of a demon god. In fact, in his mind, the natal magical power belonging to the blood sea peng demon and his understanding of the Tao have gradually become clear in his mind. Invisibly, he felt that he would gradually gain control of these abilities. Sure enough, swallowing is no longer the same. His sky-devouring body can evolve, and the things he can swallow now are undoubtedly more. Of course, there are also the chaotic memories of the blood sea peng demon for so many years. None of these memories are effective for Wu Yu, so he seems to be able to automatically delete this part and not be troubled by it. What he gets from it is like a funnel can extract the essence and remove the dross. This is also a magical ability. In fact, after Wu Yu got this sky-swallowing body, he knew very well that this might be a harvest comparable to the inheritance of an immortal, but he didn't know if he would be hated by the controllers of this world like the sky-swallowing demon ancestor. Nowadays, the soul of the sky-swallowing body has indeed surpassed Wu Yu's body by a large level. He found that the focus of his thinking has always been on the sky-swallowing body. There is even a type of soul that mainly uses the sky-swallowing body. It feels like I regard my own body as a clone. In the long run, this will definitely not be a good thing, but now it is an extreme situation. After tasting the sweetness, Wu Yu has no choice, he must do this. Even if something terrible happens next, he will bear it and control it. He was quite satisfied with a flesh and blood body like the sky-swallowing body. He even tried it. In fact, even the blood of the sky-swallowing body could open the door to the ancient demon world. This showed that this body was actually different from his own body. There are still countless connections, or it can be said that it is still his own identity, but his appearance and method have changed. In the mind, the magical powers, Taoism and Tao are more clear. If you squint your eyes, you can feel the realm of the Blood Sea Pen Demon's Tao. That is completely different from Wu Yu's Tao. However, the swallowing of the sky-swallowing body is limited to its use, but does not involve shaking Wu Yu's foundation. Wu Yu has Tao in his heart, but he can use other Tao. This once again forced him to marvel at the magic of the sky-swallowing beast. Now the sky-swallowing body has three forms. Except for the most primitive black mist state, it is actually quite similar to a demon. It has human form and animal form. Now it's in beast form. Under Wu Yu's own thoughts, he transformed into a human form. The human form was still the same as before, wearing black clothes, with white blood eyes, a demonic and cold temperament, cold eyes and fluttering white, but every thread was can win like a sharp needle in an instant. These whites are the pure white horn of the animal shape. Swallowing the body of the sky and becoming a demon god is a unique feeling. The time is less than half, and the main body and the sky-swallowing body are looking at each other. Wu Yu now has a strong belief. He is no longer at a loss as before. He clearly knows where his desperate direction is. However, he had to ask himself, based on the current sky-devouring body, no matter how you look at it, he is no match for the ancient emperor. Since we are already so crazy, why do we need to limit the level of madness? There is no turning back anyway, so why not be more ruthless and let him see that I, Wu Yu, am not someone to be fooled? He had an even scarier idea. Maybe this idea was led by the body that swallowed the sky. He even thought of this, but he also smiled because he didn't care anymore. No matter what happens now, at least he has not become a devil. At least in his belief, he still wants to rescue Luo Bin and avenge his master. This is enough. When he devours it to the point where he only wants to devour it and even forgets about rescue and revenge, then that will be a really bad situation. Who is the next target? Then I'll choose you. You are not a powerful demon god, and you were traumatized by the Blood Sea Pen demon. Now you are still looking for me all over the world. You are seeking death on your own. He chose, Rose Demon Queen. Lanlan, take me to find her. Wu Yu hugged Lalan Mao. Meow the lazy cat nestled deeply in Wu Yu's arms. Every time he glanced at the sky-swallowing body, his hair would explode. He pretended to be ferocious, but his body was actually trembling. Don't be afraid, this is me too. Wu Yu stroked his head. Meow. Even so, it was still afraid. However, it still followed Wu Yu's instructions and led Wu Yu to find the Rose Demon Queen. Now the speed of the sky-swallowing body has completely surpassed that of Wu Yu's body. As long as I devour one more demon god, then the other 6 demon gods must all die in my hands. Then, in this ancient demon world, you no longer have to worry. The eyes of the Sky Devourer were extremely scarlet. Killing the demon gods completely would bring him the most powerful and crazy capital to fight against the ancient Emperor Yanhuang. Such madness was Wu Yu's real goal at this moment. This chapter is not over yet, please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content. The key point is the Rose Demon Queen. Wu Yu was on the road, sorting out the magical powers of the Blood Sea Pen Demon. He must fight against the Rose Demon Queen. In fact, he digested the Blood Sea Pen Demon perfectly, and he also had a realm and had undergone a transformation, perhaps from a baby to a child, so Wu Yu could feel that he was much stronger than the Blood Sea Pen Demon in his prime. The Blood Sea Pen Demon in his prime was much stronger than the Rose Demon Queen. Now he was facing the injured Rose Demon Queen. The body of the Rose Demon Queen was everywhere, so it was easier to find her body. After all, she was looking for Wu Yu in a high-profile manner. She might even want to get it herself after finding it. Wu Yu easily locked her position. The four innate magical powers of the Blood Sea Pen Demon gradually made Wu Yu understand them clearly during the process. When he fought with the Little Pen Demon, the Little Pen Demon also used them, but his strength was not at the same level as the current heaven-devouring body. Before, the Rose Demon Queen was killed by the Blood Sea Pen Demon alone, and 1/3 of her body was torn apart. At this time, she was extending her body and looking for Wu Yu all over the world. She was on a high mountain, breaking out of the ground and looking at the whole world. Suddenly, 2 black spots appeared in front of her. They appeared in an instant. The Rose Demon Queen certainly knew these 2 people. This was definitely Wu Yu. Especially his original body, which was holding the key at this time. Brother. 2 dark roses quickly appeared on the vines in front of the Rose Demon Queen, and then a beautiful woman without a piece of clothing grew out of each rose. One looked at Wu Yu's original body, and the other looked at Wu Yu's heaven-devouring body. Why can't you understand me? I just want to leave here and go to other worlds, the woman said delicately. Wu Yu raised the gate of the ancient demon world in his hand. It was a golden eyeball. He smiled and said, "Actually, I can give it to you, but I have a condition." "What condition?" "Don't worry, I will never tell anyone." Wu Yu's original body put away the gate of the ancient demon world and began to retreat. He pushed and said, "That is, take your life in exchange." The Rose Demon Queen didn't understand. But at this time, Wu Yu's original body had appeared in an extremely distant place with a somersault. What remained in front of her was Wu Yu's heaven-devouring body. She only realized at this time that this heaven-devouring body was actually looking at her with a strange look, which was like a hungry beast staring at its food. Demon God, the Rose Demon Queen was shocked and almost screamed. The moment she had this thought, the heaven-devouring body exploded into black mist and spread. When it condensed again in an instant, it was already a giant beast. Or it could be said that it was more like a humanoid beast, which looked even more domineering and fierce than the 9 infants god. At this moment, it gave the Rose Demon Queen a creepy feeling. Forbidden blood hell. The magical power in his memory was used in the first moment. After confirming the prey, Wu Yu didn't want to say a word. At this moment, all he wanted was to kill, kill, and devour. Forbidden blood hell. When Xiao Peng Demon used this magical power, it was directly cut off by Wu Yu's exorcism technique. At this time, it really swept across and formed a domain. The blood color instantly spread throughout the world, even seeping into the depths of the ground, dyeing all the roots of the Rose Demon Queen red. This was simply blood-sucking. When this magical power enveloped the opponent's body, it frantically sucked the blood, or liquid, from the opponent's body. Resistance was necessary to resist this kind of sucking. Of course, the forbidden blood hell was not fatal to the Rose Demon Queen. What really made her extremely puzzled was that she knew that the forbidden blood hell came from the Blood Sea Pen Demon. She had suffered from it in the previous battle, and now the one who displayed this life-defining magical power was clearly a clone of Wu Yu, who looked like a clone of the demon god level. Confusion can also make her terrified. This is something she can't figure out at all. Perfect Anti-Theft Chapter. Please use the search engine to search for keywords. Various novels are available for you to watch.